Я Иванова Наталья Григорьевна, старший преподаватель кафедры английской филологии и переводоведения. I'm going to deliver a lecture on theoretical grammar. The subject of the lecture is noun, article determination. Let's make a plan of it. Point 1. The article is a grammatical determiner of the noun. Point 2. The system of articles in English. The definite article, the indefinite article, and the zero article. Point 3. The semantic presentation of the articles. Number 4. Articles with different groups of nouns. Now, let's start the lecture itself. The category of article determination shows the relations of the noun referent to other referents of the same class. The article is a determiner of a noun, but unlike other determiners, for example, lexical ones, lexical means of determination, such as this, that, some, any, certain, a kind of, it is so general that it has become a grammatical means of determination in modern English. When no lexical determiner is used, a noun is modified either by a definite article, the, or an indefinite article, an, or by a meaningful absence of such, defined as a zero article. The idea of a zero article has been challenged by different scholars on the ground that only morpheme can be distinguished as zero marks in oppositional correlation of words. Still, the following semantic and paradigmatic presentation of the category of article determination makes it possible to distinguish three rather than two article plus noun forms. Now, let's turn to the definite article. The definite article expresses the identification or individualization of the noun. The object that the noun denotes is taken as concrete and individual or definite. The identificational meaning of the definite article can be demonstrated in the substitution test, when the is substituted by the so-called demonstrative lexical determiners. For example, the man, this man, the very man. Now let's turn to the indefinite article. The indefinite article expresses classification or relative classifying generalization of the referent, which means that the article refers the object denoted to a certain class. The classifying meaning of the indefinite article can be demonstrated by substitution with classifying words and phrases. For example, a man, some man, a certain man, some kind of man, etc. The semantic difference between the identifying definite article and the classifying indefinite article can be demonstrated by a contrast test. For example, the man, the very man, not other man, and even a woman. Now the zero article. The zero article, or meaningful non-use of the article, expresses absolute generalization, abstraction of the referent denoted by the noun. This meaning can be demonstrated by the insertion test, where the generalizing expressions in general, in the abstract, in the broadest sense, are inserted into the construction to show the abstraction. For example, home should be a safe and comfortable place, where home is used in the abstract in general. One should always bear in mind that with uncountable nouns, the absence of the article expresses not only abstract generalization, but also classifying generalization, because the uncountable nouns cannot be used with the indefinite article, which is still semantically connected with its etymological base, the numeral 1. So the difference between the classifying absence of the article and the abstract generalized absence of the article with an uncountable noun can be stated only on the basis of either the substitution or the insertion tests. For example, knowledge in general is power, absolute generalization. And in the other example, he demonstrated some kind of knowledge in the field. Here it's relative generalization or classification. The same applies to countable nouns in the plural, because the indefinite article, unlike the definite article, is used only in the singular due to the same etymological reasons. For example, I like flowers in general, abstract or absolute generalization. Or there are flowers, some or several, on the table. It's classifying relative generalization. Paradigmatically, the category of article determination is formed by two oppositions organized hierarchically, I'm very sorry, on the upper level. The definite article determination, the strong member of the opposition, is opposed to the indefinite article determination and the meaningful absence of the article, both of which express generalization and make the weak member of the opposition on the lower level. The indefinite article determination and the meaningful absence of the article with uncountable nouns and the nouns in the plural expressing relative generalization or classification, which make the strong member of the opposition, are opposed to the zero article determination, denoting absolute generalization or abstraction, the weak member of the opposition. The meaningful absence of the article should be distinguished from contexts in which articles are omitted. For example, in telegrams, in headlines, in various notices, where the omission helps save space. For example, arrest of black lecturer heightens distrust, or lecturer accuses police of racism. There are no semantic grounds for the absence of the article in fixed expressions. For example, to be in debt at first sight, to lose heart by chance at night, etc. The use of the definite and indefinite articles can also be in fixed expressions. For example, to be at a loss, on the whole, to take the trouble, out of the question, in a hurry, etc. Such cases can be treated as lexicalization. For example, to keep house means вести хозяйство, but to keep the house, сидеть дома, не работать. There are also certain fixed contexts in which the use of articles has no semantic ground. For example, with the names of newspapers, the definite article is used. For example, the Washington Post, the Sun, the Sunday Times, while with the names of magazines, no article is used. For example, Cosmopolitan, Vogue. Likewise, no article is used with the words television, TV. For example, I often watch TV. But the word radio is usually used with the definite article. For example, we often listen to the radio in the morning. Most geographic names are used without articles. For example, the names of cities and countries. For example, Moscow, Russia, London, Great Britain. But there are some exceptions. For example, The Hague, the Netherlands. The names of separate mountains are used without articles. For example, Everest, Ben Nevis, Kazbek, while mountain chains given with the definite articles. For example, the Rocky Mountains, the Caucasus. The same applies to the names of separate islands and a group of islands. For example, Sicily, Madagascar, but the Canary Islands, the British Isles. Still many of the situational rules are grounded on the semantic difference between the three articles. For example, the use of the indefinite article with nouns used in the function of a predicative is determined by the classifying character of the predicative itself. For example, he is a teacher, belong to the class of teachers. Or the indefinite article is naturally used with nouns modified by a descriptive classifying attribute, while the definite article is used in contexts with limiting, restrictive, particularizing attributes, which single the referent out or individualize it. For example, there is a young man waiting for you, or she is a woman of character. This is the young man I told you about. She is the nicest person I've ever met. This is the right door. We should use the definite articles with the names of unique objects, because unique objects are without any doubt definite. For example, the sun, the moon, the earth. But there are some planets which, the names of which are used without any article. For example, Mars, Venus. Obvious semantic reasons determine the use of the indefinite article with the new information in the sentence. It's the rhyme, the communicative center of the utterance, and the definite article with the old, already known facts. It's the theme. For example, there was a man on the platform. The man was staring at me. The article is also defined as a unit whose main function is to actualize the concept of the referent in a particular text. In other words, the article correlates the notion of the referent with actual really subjectively, as presented by any speaker or writer. In general linguistics, articles are usually studied in connection with the semantic category of definiteness, indefiniteness, generalization. This approach correlates articles with other semi-notional determiners in the following groups. Determiners of definiteness: the, this, that, my, our, your, etc. Determiners of indefiniteness: an, another, any, some, a piece of, a case of, etc. Determiners of generalization: all, per se, every, in general. There is such a dispute about the status of the article itself. and the status of its combination with the noun. The question is, if the article is an independent word like other determiners, if it forms a word combination with the noun which determines, or if it is purely grammatical dependable morpheme like auxiliary word used to build an analytical form of the noun. There are pros and cons to sustain each of these two approaches, but it seems more plausible to interpret the article in terms of the general linguistic field approach as lingual unit of intermediary status between the word and the morpheme, or special type of grammatical auxiliary, and its combination with the noun as an intermediary phenomenon between the word and the word combination. Thank you for your attention.